A picture-perfect family, the glamour of Beverly Hills, and allegations of dark secrets. The 1989 murders of Jose and Kitty Menendez by their sons Lyle and Eric transfixed the world.
The city of Beverly Hills has been rocked by a drama at once riveting and chilling.
Jose Menendez was shot 5 times, a fatal wound through the back of the head into the brain. His wife, Kitty, was unrecognizable.
The Menendez case from the day it happened was a huge cultural event.
After 2 trials, the brothers were sentenced in 1996 to life in prison with no possibility of parole. 35 years on, the notorious case is back in the headlines after the release of a documentary.
Everyone asks why we kill their parents.
And a TV drama on Netflix.
Blame it on the rain that was falling.
But this is an updated photo of the Menendez brothers.
A new legion of TikTok influencers and celebrity campaigners like Kim Kardashian are now calling for their release.
I think that they never got a fair second trial.
It's undeniable that there's a movement on TikTok, and I get the emotionality of it. I really do. But that's not how we decide things like murder.
On the night of the 20th of August 1989, Lyle and Eric shot their parents, Kitty and Jose, as they watched television in the family's Beverly Hills mansion. Lyle was 21, Eric 18.
The brothers burst into the den. They blew the father's head right off. The mother, Kitty Menendez, was still alive. Lyle Menendez went back outside to the driveway, reloaded, came back in, put the muzzle of his shotgun up against his mother's cheek and pulled the trigger, and he blew her face off. That's just heinous.
Former journalist Alan Abrahamson covered the case for the LA Times.
And to see the crime scene photos and the autopsy photos and everything was as awful a picture. These pictures were just awful. They were gruesome and grisly and horrible and horrifying. And they've stuck with me for 30, 35 years.
That night, Lyle made a hysterical call to 911.
What's the problem? What's the problem?
Someone killed my parents.
The brothers initially claimed that someone else was responsible, even suggesting to the police it could have been a mafia hit. But months later, Eric confessed to the murders to his therapist, and police arrested both brothers.
By the time the case got to court, everyone knew that the brothers had pulled the triggers on the shotguns. So the question then was this a murder case or a manslaughter case?
In 1993, at their trial, the brothers admitted to killing their parents, claiming they feared for their lives after suffering from years of sexual abuse by their father.
The Menendez brothers were saying that they were in fear of their father, Jose, not only because of the acts of abuse that allegedly had been committed against them, but threats that if they ever went to the authorities, that he would kill them.
Here's the problem with the brothers' argument. If you act in self-defense, you have to be in fear for your life, and that fear has to be imminent. That means now. Jose and Kitty Menendez were sitting there watching TV. They were not taking any action whatsoever to do anything harmful toward their sons. None. Zero.
Prosecutors argued they were motivated by greed. The brothers stood to inherit their parents' estate.
After it was established, and in fact, the will was left to them, the brothers went on the spending spree. There were Rolex watches, there were fancy cars.
The jury couldn't reach a unanimous verdict, the judge declaring a mistrial. They were tried a second time in 1995, found guilty of murder and sentenced to life without parole. From prison, they gave an interview expressing remorse, but maintained they were abused.
Do you feel remorse?
Tremendous remorse. And I think
there's tremendous pain. I mean,
From the second that I got back to the house after the shootings, I saw what happened and I said, this is wrong.
Last year, the brothers' legal team filed a petition which they hope will lead to their release. They claim new evidence supports the abuse allegations, including a letter written by Eric to his now late cousin, in which Eric says, "I've been trying to avoid Dad. It's still happening." The brothers are also relying on allegations by a member of the boy band Menudo that music executive Jose Menendez raped him when he was a teenager.
There's no way that a retrial would be granted. What's really possible here is a resentencing, because 35 years is a long time to serve in prison, even for a murder.
The evidence is now being reviewed by George Gascon, the district attorney of LA County.
There's no question that there's a different view of sexual assault today.
It's George Gascon's job now to recommend to a court next month whether the brothers' case should be reconsidered, meaning they could be released if the judge agrees.
We started looking at this case in terms of the reevaluation way before all this public attention, and I intend to do what I believe is right, regardless of where public opinion is one way or the other.
To go back now and try to say the Menendez brothers, who were convicted by a jury of their peers and sentenced to life in prison without parole, to undo that makes a mockery of the jury system.
It may not be a popular decision in prosecutorial circles, but I would think that in our culture, we've come a long way in the last 10 years, maybe 15 years. I think we're at a point now where any reasonable person taking a look at this case believes they should be out.
While some relatives of the Menendez brothers agree they should stay in jail, about 20, including their mother's sister, want them freed.
As details of Lyle and Eric's abuse came to light, it became clear that their actions, while tragic, were the desperate response of two boys trying to survive the unspeakable cruelty of their father.